Install the quill and snug down the holding bolt. During normal operations, the quill will have to be turned 180 degrees as the edge that does the shearing becomes worn. The shearing edge is the edge closest to the pusher. When both edges of the quill have become worn, the quill must be removed and sharpened. To remove the quill on the Model 1012 header, swing the second transfer assembly out of the way. This is the quill cap. To remove the cap, first loosen the quill cap screws. Thread a circular pull bolt into the cap and pull off the quill cap. The quill for the 1012 has 2 additional holes which are used for the pusher. The pusher must be retracted from this hole in the quill before it can be removed. Open the covers over the feed roll area. Locate the pusher rocker arm and clamp finger in front of the feed rolls. Loosen the lock nut and slide the finger clamp down. Lift up on the T-bar end of the pusher and slide the pusher out. If wire was loaded into the machine, it must also be pulled out of the quill. You may now remove the quill from the 1012 quill pocket. This is a quill from a Model 1012 header. The quill has 2 pusher holes in it so that if a cutoff burr appears, the quill can be rotated 180 degrees to replace the shearing edge with the sharp edge. To replace a 1012 quill, clean out the quill pocket and quill cap. Install a sharpened quill with the correct size wire hole. Rotate the quill to align the pusher hole with the pusher, then push the quill forward in its pocket. Whenever you change to a smaller diameter wire on any machine, check the size of the pusher to be sure it will fit through the cutter. If the pusher will not fit through the cutter, it must be replaced. Clean and install the pusher. Fit the T-bar in the finger clamp and tighten the lock nut. Replace the quill cap and screws. Snug down the cap screws. Jog the machine until the cutter lever moves back as far as it will go. In this position, the cutter and quill can be adjusted for alignment. You can now mount the cutter. Hold the cutter in place and thread in the attaching bolt. Be sure the hard washer is mounted on the attaching bolt. Use a wrench, but do not fully tighten the attaching bolt at this time. Snug down the cutter clamp screw. Place a straight piece of the correct size wire into the cutter. If the wire does not pass smoothly into the quill, use the wire to find the location of the quill hole from the cutter hole. You will then need to align the cutter to the quill. The cutter is held in the lever by 3 screws. This upper horizontal adjustment screw and the lower vertical adjustment screw are used to align the cutter to the quill. With the clamp screw loose, tap the cutter with a soft hammer to seat the cutter against the horizontal adjustment screw. Then turn the lower vertical adjustment screw in or out as required to align the cutter. Then turn the upper horizontal screw into contact with the cutter and tighten the clamp bolt. If the horizontal adjusting screw is not accessible on your machine, reseat the cutter if necessary with a tap from a soft hammer. Finally, tighten the attaching bolt. Recheck the alignment and repeat if necessary by first loosening the clamp screw and the attaching bolt. If the sample wire passes through both the cutter and quill without any drag, then retighten both the clamp screw and attaching bolt. During operation, there can be 5 different causes for an incorrect or distorted cutoff. First, the quill may be dull. Second, the cutter may be dull. Third, the cutter and quill wire hole may be too large in diameter. Fourth, the cutter may not be correctly aligned to the quill. Or fifth, the clearance between the cutter and quill may be incorrect. If the cutter and quill clearance is too great, the blank will look like this. If the clearance is too little, the blank may look like this. The actual amount of clearance between the quill and cutter will vary with the size and type of wire. Soft steel wire may require more clearance, while harder steel wires will require less clearance. Locate the drawn wire diameter in your setup sheet. As a starting clearance for a new job, multiply the wire diameter by 0.02. For example, if you will be running wire with a drawn diameter of 0.227, multiply this by 0.02. This will give you a setup clearance of approximately 5/1000ths of an inch as a starting point. Select shim stock or a feeler gauge of the correct dimension and insert between the cutter and quill. The gauge must be snug, but can be removed without pulling too hard. To adjust the clearance, loosen the quill clamp screw.